Hello, peaceful living warriors. So nice to see you all today. So at the end of my last video from last week, I said that we were going to be talking about the myth of the supermom this week, and I was wrong. I didn't remember my own schedule. This week I'm going to be talking about something I am very, very excited about. Yes, it's my glasses that I'm constantly trying to fix. I should not wear them for these videos. My new Teens and Tweens program. So I just launched this week, and I had my first client, and I love her. She's wonderful, a beautiful young woman, 13 years old from Salt Lake City, Utah, and she just is having a lot of anxiety, and her mom contacted me, and then I talked to her, and we're going to work on that. So I love the idea of being able to help teens and tweens. This program came out of a couple of different groups that I ran last fall, Mindfulness for Girls. And it was wonderful doing the groups, but after talking with some of the moms and some of the girls after the groups, they said that they felt more comfortable, they would feel more comfortable rather, talking in person. And the mom said, you know, she really didn't open up much. But that was okay, because the point of the group was to teach the girls mindfulness techniques. So it wasn't really so much to talk about where their anxiety was coming from, but more just some really easy to use techniques that they can use to bring their anxiety down. So that's what the program is about. And well, why do kids have anxiety? Shouldn't childhood be stress-free? Well, I don't know about you all, but thinking back to high school, that was one of the most stressful times of my life. All of the social pressures, all of the school pressures, got to get good grades, got to do all this homework. I used to struggle with algebra. Sorry, Mrs. Bohannon, but it was really hard. And our kids are struggling with the same things, but it is magnified. So, for example, it is harder to get into college now than it was when I was in school. And yes, I will give you my age of 47 and graduated in 1988. 88, forever great. 30-year reunion this year. Woo! My goodness. So it wasn't quite as hard to get into college. And now, because there are so many kids, all of the kids of the baby boomers and on down, they are having a harder time because there's so much competition. Also, the cost of college has skyrocketed. When I first started San Diego State, it was like $600 a semester for tuition. Now I was looking into the colleges and universities around here in South Carolina, and the California schools are not much behind in terms of the pricing, and it is nearly $20,000, in some cases nearly $30,000 a year just in tuition to go to school. And this is a lot of pressure on these kids. So there's that. There's the, should I take the AP classes? Should I take the honors classes? How do I do the 3 hours of homework and have all of the extracurriculars that I'm supposed to have to get into college? That alone has got to just weigh on these kids. All of the testing. So much testing. We went on to this core curriculum from the federal level, and it wasn't supposed to be so testing based, but it still is. It still is. There's so much testing, and that stress on our kids. And then finally, of course, social pressures. So social pressures were tremendous in the 80s. It was crazy. The social pressures of how people were treating each other, how people treated me, passing of notes. Well, now, again, we all know it's magnified because of social media. So this is all of this stuff these kids are dealing with. And what is going on is they are being set up for stress-based disease later in life. And so not only are they having a really hard time as teens and tweens, but this is going to affect them later. And I, for one, don't want my kids to get into a position where they're young adults and they're having panic attacks like I was, where they're struggling to work full time to put themselves through college, and all of that stress from earlier on is still inside of them, and I didn't know how to process it. So that is the heart of the teen program. The heart of the teen program is giving these teens and tweens techniques and tools to manage their stress. So we start, just like we do in the adult program, with self-discovery. What makes you tick? We want to talk about your values, your likes, your dislikes, what your personality is like. And the teens really like that. It's fun for them to be able to talk about themselves. And I don't do it in a way that I'm psychoanalyzing them, not that there's anything wrong with psychoanalysis, but it's more collegial. It's more like, well, what do you think? If you're at a social gathering with a bunch of other kids, would you rather kind of sit back and watch what everybody else is doing, or do you want to get involved and be in the middle of it all? So we do that kind of thing. And then we go into talking about ways of thinking. Again, just like in the adult program, we talk about how we as human beings have more of a tendency to hold on to negative thoughts, to continue with negative thoughts than we do positive thoughts. So we talk about how to condition our brains into thinking positive thoughts instead of negative thoughts. My brilliant friend, Diane Corbin, who is just an amazing therapist, she said to me the other day, she goes, yeah, I tell my clients that negative thoughts are like Velcro and positive thoughts are like Teflon. So negative thoughts stick to you like Velcro and positive thoughts bounce off like Teflon. So this is something I talk about with the teens and tweens and have them work on affirmations. I also talk about self-image, body image, all of those things that affect their self-esteem. And then we go into, and this is the part the parents are going to love, study skills. I had to have that in there. Study skills are not part of the adult coaching program, but I use a lot of the same principles. So we talk about how to organize yourself. I use a coaching tool called My Success Schedule. I use that with my adults. I'm using it with my teens. We talk about how to get yourself motivated. Motivation is hard. It's hard for us as adults. It's even harder for kids where their brains don't function like ours do. Their brains are not in full maturity, so they don't have the ability to really think things through at the deeper level that we sometimes need to get motivated to do the things we don't want to do. So we talk about different motivation strategies, and these are things that, again, I have used in my adult life, but I also used in college and even more so in graduate school. But I don't put them in those kind of adult terms. I talk to the kids about how we want to start with, what subjects do you like best? And so maybe we want to start with doing that homework first, and then go to the homework that you don't like. And then we'll go back to another subject that you do like, and how to prioritize. And that's kind of it. Oh, no, it's not. I'm a big liar. I also do a different mindfulness exercise. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied today. I think because I'm so excited about the program that I'm speaking a little bit too fast. A mindfulness exercise with each of the sessions. So we start with different breathing techniques. If the kids are familiar with meditation, we can call it meditation, but it's not chanting meditation. It's not Om Shanti, that kind of thing, which I, of course, love. But we do things like how to breathe and count down backwards from 50. We talk about how to bring that breath all the way into your belly and then let it out in long, relaxing exhalations. And I have a different one of those that I do in each of the different sessions. Right now, there are 13 sessions in all. But that may change as I'm beta testing it. I have some clients that I'm beta testing this with, and we may want to add some or take some away. It takes a while. It takes about 3 or 4 times through before the coaching programs get so that they're really going smoothly. So that's where I am right now. Now, okay, enough of the sales pitch. So what can you do at home for your teens and tweens? Well, I tell you, as the mother of a teen, I have a 14-year-old boy who I'm like, I don't even know this kid anymore. Where is my sweet little boy who was so outgoing and always wanted to go onto the playground and play tag? He's just not there anymore. I also have an 11-year-old, which I've talked about for quite some time, who struggles with anxiety to the point where we really have to have her in therapy, which is great. And I love therapy. And for somebody who struggles to the point that she does, therapy is something that's really, really important. But as her therapist said to me, what I do in coaching is the perfect adjunct to therapy. So even for the kids that are in therapy because of their anxiety, even for adults who are in therapy because of their stress, this coaching program or these coaching programs are a great adjunct because they're so practical. They're teaching practical behavioral techniques. So what can we do at home? Well, one of the things we can do at home as parents, which is really hard for us, is to listen. We are, as parents, constantly talking at our kids, but if we can sit back and just listen, that can make a huge difference to our kids. Now, let me tell you about my two different kids and how this works. So my daughter comes home from school and she sort of just dumps on me and she has to tell me everything that was wrong with her day at school. And I used to try to go in there and fix it for her. Honey, do you want me to email the counselor? Do you want me to talk to your teachers? Da, 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 da. She didn't need that. That's not what she wanted. She just needed me to listen. She just needed a sounding board. She didn't need me to fix it. She does not need me to fix it. So we worked out a strategy where I'm going to listen thoroughly, and then when she's done, I can say, is there anything I can help you with this stuff, or did you just need to get that out? And she goes either way. Sometimes she'll say, yeah, would you mind talking to my teacher? I have a feeling today it's going to be about the fact that she was put into PE as one of her related arts classes. We used to call them electives. I always forget what they call them here. She does not want to be in PE. So I've already received a phone call from her about this. So this may be one she wants me to fix. Now, what about the kid who doesn't talk? That's my 14-year-old boy. He does not want to talk to mom. And for me, this is harder. It's harder because I want him to talk. So I have been going to the old standby of get them in the car. They're a captive audience. And I just kind of start asking him about day-to-day things. Like, how did you like the band clinic you just went to? Recently, very sadly, his band director passed away in a car accident over the holidays. So I had him in the car and I said, so how are you feeling about Mr. Shrewsbury not being there anymore? And this is the first time you've ever known somebody who's passed away. And then again, I have to step back and listen, because as a parent, and as much as I know about mindful communication, I would jump in and either try to fix things, give him little hints about what to do, what not to do, or I might even get upset with him if I'm trying to talk to him about grades because he got his first C ever. I'm not happy with him for that. But my going after him for that doesn't help. Now, of course, I got together with his father. If it continues, his father and I will sit down with him and say, you know what, video games are going away if the grades don't come up. Because he's getting a C because he's not doing his homework, not because he can't do the work. And AJ knows this. He knows that if he's struggling, we will get him a tutor or we will sit down and help him, whichever works best for him. But he's just not doing his homework. He doesn't want to do it. So that's video games go away because you have to do your homework. But again, if you want them to talk to you and they're not real talkers, get them in a space where they are confined. And I don't mean lock them in the room. And the car is a really good situation. The dinner table can be, it depends on how many kids are sitting around the table. My husband and I took him out to dinner on his own to talk to him about the grades. So if you can get them alone and just let them talk. Ask questions that are drawing them out instead of telling them what to do, instead of telling them what you're feeling. And of course, we do have to tell them what we're feeling, but let them talk first. And that will allow them to feel like they have a safe space. Okay, so that's a couple of hints to help us with our teens. And I'm not just pulling this stuff out of thin air. I have been doing a ton of research, and actually, because my daughter has been a little challenging, I have a stack of parenting books that comes up to my waist. So I think I've read more books about parenting at this point and been in more therapy sessions and talked to more professionals than I did for my doctorate in political science. So I'm drawing out what I have found works, and I'm mixing and matching that parenting stuff with the mindfulness and wellness techniques that I know from all of the other research and practice that I've done, and that's what I've put into the teen program. So if you're a stressed out parent and need some coaching on how to get yourself into a better place, a more peaceful place, let's talk. I'd love to put you into my coaching session, and it's a really good thing to do for parents who have kids that are a little bit maybe more high maintenance, or for kids that have stress and anxiety themselves. And if you have a teen or tween and would like to talk to me about the program for her or him, this one is really could go for boys or girls. Again, reach out, give me a call, send me an email. I have a contact sheet on my website, peacefullivingwellness.com, or reach out via Facebook. I'm happy to have any length of conversation you need. All right, Peaceful Living Warriors, namaste, and thank you for watching. And please don't forget to share. Thanks. Bye.